Well, you wanted an intro, now you got an intro. What's up? I got. Oh, I've been here, I've been there. I was upstate. I had to take care of some stuff. So basically, I guess you all know that I have a trailer at a campground, which is my holiday weekend kind of getaway. So I have a place in Vegas and I have a place in New York. And I have a trailer there that did not bode well during the winter. It had a leak right before I moved to Vegas, and I tried to patch it the last possible day, and it didn't patch. So I got another trailer, and I had to spend some time up there getting things together, and I did. Got to see all my friends and family up there, and I'm going to be out back and forth from there to New York throughout the summer, and we going to have some fun up there. I gotta do a Friday night show along with some other shows. Maybe Friday, Saturday night trailer chat, trailer trash chat. We seem to have some fun with that. I just, there's a good signal up there, and I need a better signal. So I'm gonna be working on that before I go back. I will be back for the 4th of July, or I might be back. I've talked about Antonia Bennett. We're gonna bring her on this week. I did. She's a busy mother. She's got a lot of things going on. But Antonia Bennett's going to be playing Daryl's house. Anybody up in the New York State area, she's playing June 17th at Daryl's house. I suggest if you're up that way, go see Antonia. And in New York, she'll be playing Iridium on June 18th in Manhattan. So I'm going to see if I go back there for June 17th to go see Antonia because she's not too far from the campground. And then also I'll be in New York June 18th. I gotta book a ticket, see what the ticket prices are and everything like that. So it was interesting going up there. I had a couple of talks with with a company that I can't say anything yet, but gonna have a little bit of a cool announcement about a new sponsor. I'm very excited about, but I can't talk about it yet. I believe Bob Levy is going to be coming on. You can super tip me. I've been getting a lot of flack. I go to the comments too much, so the super tips are up. I got a new super tip login, and I have new super tip voice tips. I now have Bob Levy, and I have Fred the Elephant Boy along with Tracy. So if you want, you can super tip me anytime you want. But my trip to New York, it was, Jesus. It was so cold. Coming from Vegas, it's like 110 degrees out right now, and it feels normal. It feels okay. And because I literally Memorial Day weekend, if you were in New York, you knew it was fun for me because I got to see all my friends and family, and we spent the whole time inside with the heat on or around a roaring campfire because it was absolutely brutally cold and raining. So I did a couple of experiment shows up there. I'm gonna build out a studio, and we're gonna go from there and figure something out because I'm gonna spend a lot of good time up there. And thank you for all the welcome backs. Yeah, I'm not answering. You want a question? You could super tip me. I'm not going to. I see some of those guys. All you guys are coming here and stuff, and so I'm gonna really focus on what I'm talking about and not your comments anymore. Of course, if you want to super tip me, by all means, go right ahead. There are super tips are up. If you want to super tip me, is Bob Levy. We have a Bob Levy thing. So I wanted to bring this person on real quick because they reached out to me. He's an author and he's well respected in the community of authors and everything. And he's interviewing me for another project, but he sort of he read my book and he wanted to come on and talk about it, but he also has another book up, and we got to click on here. Here we go. So I got to go to double. I'm in double. No speaker. Add speaker. Break number 4. No speaker. Well, you got to add it. Anyway, we have So I do this. Okay, I'll get you on here, buddy. Hold on. Add to scene. That usually helps. Double. Well, anyway, there's the guy. Hold on a sec. Go back to here. Solo video. A little rusty. Solo double. Okay. Did something messed up. All right, yeah, give me a second, Greg. I'll come back to you. All right. So I'll go back to solo anyway. But yeah, a lot of people are just mad at me for reading the tips and everything. Where could you super tip? It's right here. Up there, it's pinned to my YouTube channel, and you can use that Scantron thing, the QR code, as they call it. And so, yeah, it was fun. I can't wait to go back. But, when you have a trailer and you put a bunch of people in there and you get drama. There was some drama up there. Not anything from me, but just from some other people that are sort of involved. And it's just tough to see some people go down a road you don't want to see them go down. But, it's not the first time I've dealt with stuff like this. And it's upsetting to see when you got a friend go down a horrible path. My heart goes out to the family, and I am going to say a prayer for them. But other than that, it was a really great trip. A lot of great things happening, and suddenly can't remember how to add a speaker on. Replace guest. Oh, wait. Where'd he go? Greg Prato. Replace in all scenes. There we go. Hot diggity damn. What's up, Mr. Plato?
You see it?
I see it. That's my book.
Should I do the whole entire interview just hiding behind this, or should I show my face?
No. You show your pretty face. You want to see my book up there the whole time. I appreciate that.
Are you ready for are you ready for the big reveal?
Yeah. What's the big reveal, Mr. Plato?
My face.
Oh, there we go. Oh, you're a handsome guy. Look at that. We've been talking. We can't talk about the project that you're working on right now.
Yes, a very, very top secret project, but you are officially involved in it. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I know. And but you picked up my book and you read it, and you knew immediately that.
I'm about 3/4 of the way done with it. So far, I like it a lot. Very, very good. There's a lot of interesting things in this. I was telling you before. What I like about it, it's like it really helps recreate what the 90s were about, like in especially New York City with the clubs and all that stuff. And honestly, I never went to Scores, but what you have to say about it definitely, I think, paints a picture, a pretty realistic picture of what it was like.
It was like so unbelievably amazing that it was like I go into a strip club now and it doesn't make any sense. Like to go there anymore, because I just like when you walk into a place and you're like, Norm from Cheers, and everybody's like, yo, what's up? You knew the guys at the door, you knew the guys on the floor, you knew the girls, you knew the bartenders, you knew the guy in the bathroom,
right. Right.
The guy in the bathroom. Although I couldn't do a job like that, and because I want to go in the bathroom and get out of the bathroom. But the guy that was in the bathroom had the scoop on everybody, and everybody's got to go to the bathroom. And so I remember his nickname. Everybody called him Doc. Everybody sometime they came in, he go Doctor, and you go Doctor, how you doing? Good to see you, Doctor.
Right.
And he was like this hippie guy, and his wife did the women's bathroom. His wife was like the house mom. They probably made a killing, but he was like the nicest hippie guy, like long haired, like kind of like stoner. Grateful Dead guy, but he had the gossip on everything.
Really?
Because there was only one bathroom at Scores, and then there was that one night I came in, and he was like, Stevie, you just missed it. I was like, what? He goes, Chuck Zito just knocked out Jean-Claude Van Damme. I go, what? And the whole thing started in the bathroom.
Wow.
I guess they were friends at some point, and Jean-Claude was all fucked up on coke and drunk and shit. And he came in the bathroom and he started bad-mouthing Chuck to the doctor. And Chuck was all our friends. Chuck was there all the time.
Yeah.
Jean-Claude just came in and just decided to start bad-mouthing Chuck. And the way he was talking, doctor went and told Chuck. He was like, "Yo, Jean-Claude's got some beef with you. Apparently, he's not too happy with you. He's talking shit." So, being he was wearing that cut, and he was Chuck had to go immediately deal with the situation. So I guess I remember those chairs because they were like big round backed banquette chairs where you got like a lap dance kind of chair, and I just missed a fight too. I was like maybe 20 minutes, like I just missed the whole thing. And so I guess Chuck stood over the chair and said, "What's up? I hear you got a beef with me." And Jean-Claude made the fatal mistake of taking off his glasses. And in any world that I'm in, I don't know about you, but if you're in a situation and someone takes off their glasses, it's time to roll, That's a sign that something's about to happen. And I'm sure that's not the first time Chuck ever said anything like that. So Chuck didn't want him to stand up because you've seen what that man could do with his legs, And he proceeded to just crack him and knocked him over the chair. And then, again, he's got some legs, so he cracked him again. And then he ran down screaming, apparently. And then the next day was the best New York Post cover ever. It was Jean-Claude Van Slammed. And that was like, so if you're ever going to work in a strip club, work in the shitter.
Right.
Because that's that. You get all the info there. If you want to go into cover at a strip club, be the bathroom attendant because you know everything.
But now I was going to say, I see some of the comments. Someone said, "quote unquote," introduce your guest. So my name is Greg Prado, and we're going to.
I did. So I don't know. We're going to get to it, but I wonder. I was going to introduce you really when you get to. I want to talk about your book.
Yes, because I was going to say we're going to do something. I'm going to hijack the show for about 5 or 10 minutes. We're going to talk about rock and roll music. Rock and roll.
Okay. Okay. So explain to everybody what you do and your book that you have out right now.
Yes. Okay. So I'm a writer. You may know my name because I've done a lot of writing over the years for AllMusic. I've written for Rolling Stone, Billboard. I write for a site called Ultimate Guitar now. But I've also written a bunch of books over the years, over 50, if you could believe that. Some of my best known ones are this. It's called Grunge is Dead, which was about all the great Seattle grunge bands. I interviewed members of Nirvana, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, Pearl Jam for this. This came out like about 15 years ago. It was like one of my first books. I also did a book a few years back called The Yacht Rock Book, which is about all the great yacht rock bands. I interviewed Christopher Cross and
Chris Cross, best name ever.
Yes. And then looking at your pages, Steve, I noticed from time to time you wore an Iron Maiden shirt. Are you a fan of Iron Maiden?
Yeah, I was a huge fan of Iron Maiden until I went to their last concert about a year ago. Okay. And if I could punch Bruce Dickinson in the face, I would. See, here's the deal. I didn't go to listen to their newer music.
Oh, okay.
Anything after Somewhere at a Time. I just sort of like lost interest which way they were going. Right. I get that you have to play the new music. They played Trooper, and that was pretty much it. No Hallowed Be Thy Name, no Run to the Hills, no Aces High, no Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. Like all the songs that I went to go that I grew up listening to, that I specifically went there to listen to, and they didn't do anything.
Because the reason why I bring up Iron Maiden, I wrote a book about Iron Maiden a while back.
Okay.
Now, I'm a rare gentleman that my favorite Iron Maiden is with their first singer, Paul Di'Anno, who died a few years ago. That's my favorite Iron Maiden. They were like more punky. They were like a punk metal hybrid. They were closer to like Motorhead type stuff rather than the prog metal stuff that they eventually did. But I 100% back you up. I saw Iron Maiden, it would have been back in 2000. Oh, no. It was in the early 2000s. It was when the Mets were in the playoffs, I think, against the Dodgers, because I wanted to see that, but I went to the Iron Maiden show instead. And I had the same exact experience as you. They played their whatever their latest album was, they played in its entirety, and it was like torture. Because like no one knew it, no one cared. I mean, I hate to say no one cares about it, but any veteran rock band like that has a brain in their head realizes that your long time fans don't want to hear all new stuff. They can put up with some new stuff, but they don't want to hear a whole new album. At least pepper in some classics, like you said. But anyway, they did the whole new album. I was bored to tears. I'm also not a fan of their guitarist, Yannick Jers or Janik Jers, however you pronounce
I
his
just
name.
know Steve Harris. That's it.
Okay.
What that Nickel McBrain
Yeah.
and Bruce
Well,
Dickinson.
Well, there's a guitarist in the band that I'm sure you recognize because all he does is dance and prance and pose throughout the whole show. So, and he's
I,
not even a original member. He hasn't been in the band from the beginning. He joined around 1990, and it just rubs me the wrong way. So, although I do like Iron Maiden, I don't necessarily go to see them live too much because I just don't have that great a time between too much new music and also the distraction of the third guitarist dancing and prancing.
Dancing and prancing. That should never ever be words mentioned in an Iron Maiden concert ever.
But now let me ask you, what did you think of 90s alternative rock? Because this book here I put out, it's
Well,
called Alternative for the Masses, the 90s Alt Rock Revolution in Oral History. For this one, I interviewed Eddie Trunk, Kennedy, members of Fugazi, Dinosaur Jr., Smashing Pumpkins, wide variety of gentlemen. Faith No More, one of my favorite rock bands of the 90s. So, Steve, what did you think of 90s alternative rock?
I
And also grunge.
remember. I remember the first time I heard "Smells Like Teen Spirit" and the first time I heard Jeremy. Well, there's always like the first that one those bands like the first time you hear their songs, you just stops you in your tracks. For me, the first time was Ozzy with Crazy Train when I was 10 years old, and I was like, "What the fuck is that?" And then with Nirvana, I was a freshman at Hunter College. It was at the athletic awards dance or whatever.
When did you go to college, by the way?
I went to Hunter College at 1990, so it was like the school dance or whatever. Of course, it was in the cafeteria. I just remember hearing "Smells Like Teen Spirit" and just like the whole room just stopped
Because the
and
reason
just
I
started jumping up and down like crazy. It was
right.
just like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, because the reason I ask is I think you and I are exactly the same age because I started college in 1990 and I graduated in 1994.
Yeah. Well, I didn't
But,
graduate in '94. I didn't graduate, but
oh, okay. But yeah, but my favorite grunge band of all time by far is Soundgarden. I was always a very big
oh
Soundgarden
yeah.
guy.
Oh come on. How could yeah? It was what
Yeah,
a shame too.
I was lucky that throughout the 80s, I just went to nothing but like big arena shows, primarily at Nassau Coliseum because I live on Long Island. I saw Kiss and AC/DC and Metallica and Maiden and David Lee Roth and all these shows. In 1990, the first club show I ever saw, I went to a place called Lemoore in Brooklyn. Did you ever go there, Steve?
Oh
Lemoore?
yeah. Well, I went to Lemoore. I wasn't allowed to go when it was hot, because it was a neighborhood thing. But I wasn't allowed. I wasn't allowed to go to my first concert until I was a senior in high school. My mom was just nuts. She
What was
didn't
the first
understand
show?
it. The first concert was Skid Row and Aerosmith at Nassau Coliseum.
Oh, was it the first night or was it the second night? Do you remember?
I probably the first night.
I was there too. Now, something
And
I
then my
remember.
second concert was Billy Joel at Yankee Stadium.
Oh, nice, very nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
because just to backtrack quick, the reason why I brought up Lemoore, the first club show I ever saw was at Lemoore in March of 1990, which was quite a lineup. It was headlined by a band not too many people remember called Voivod. They were a Canadian sci-fi prog metal band, but the middle band was Soundgarden. The
Wow.
opening band was a band called Faith No More.
Yeah.
So I mean, that to me that was a life-changing concert for me, and just the fact that it was my first club show, it was mind-blowing compared to like all the shows I would see in these big arenas where you were so far back. I mean, at this show, you were so close to like Mike Patton and also Chris Cornell. When they jumped in the audience, you had to hold them up, or else they'd fall on your head. It was a whole yeah. So from that point on, I just loved going to club shows. Now that I'm an old fart, I like things where I could sit down and be very comfortable.
Yeah. Go see Antonia Bennett play by the Iridium on the 18th in the city.
I just saw I saw a great show last Saturday. Do you remember the Meat Puppets?
Yeah, because they did something with Howard.
They did.
What did they do? They did they did a song for
yeah,
him.
a song called Silver Nickels Golden Dime.
Yeah, that was Howard's song when he was a kid. That's right.
Exactly, yeah. And I'm a huge fan of the Meat Puppets. I actually worked on a book with them a few years back called Too High to Die, Meet the Meat Puppets. And I saw them last Saturday at a place called the Knockdown Center, which I never heard of before, but it's in Queens, and they were fantastic. Still one of my favorite
Wow.
bands. I love the Meat Puppets. I love
Didn't they? Didn't something? Nirvana
Nirvana. They came
covered
out
them
during
on the
Nirvana
Unplugged,
Unplugged.
like one of the greatest
Nirvana
albums
Unplugged, and
of
they
all
did three
time.
songs. Yeah.
Unplugged, yeah, yeah. So you want to hear a really cool Nirvana story? Is when I had the company Bright Shot, the LED lighting company, we stored our lights in Gibson Guitar Showroom, which is on 54th Street. It was the old Hit Factory where like Thriller was recorded, Born to Run, Like a Virgin. It was like this Bon Jovi recorded all this shit there. It was this famous recording studio on 54th Street where it went out of business like most recording studios these days, but they kept a portion of it, and Gibson Guitar took it over, and they used it as a showroom and sort of like an event space.
Let me just
And
let me just quickly jump in. I actually went there about 15 years ago to do a face-to-face interview with Ace Frehley, the original guitarist of Kiss. What do you
I
think of
might
that?
have been there that night. I think I was there one night when Ace was there. Might have been there at the same time.
Cool.
So, but we had like access. I had keys to the place, because we stored. We did a trade with them. We lit their stage, and we used their storage facility. So one day I walked in, and Chris Novoselic was standing there, and I was like, "Holy crap, what's up?" And he was like so nice and like, "Oh, hi, I'm Chris. What's your name?" Like it was like ridiculous, like how nice he was. And then I saw Dave Grohl, and I was like, "Holy shit!" So I said, I introduced myself. I said, I do. I always like throw a shot out there. I used to work on the Stern Show. If you were a big fan, but he goes, "Of course I know who you are. This and that." And I was like, "What's going on?" He's like, "We're getting inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We're rehearsing, and Joan Jett's gonna sing like Smells Like Teen Spirit." I was like, "Get the hell out of here!" I was like, I'm not really supposed to be there, but I was like, "Do you mind if I watch?" And he was like, "Sure." So I got to sit there with my own private Nirvana concert, dude.
Wow.
It was crazy because Pap Smear was singing all of Kurt's. He does a pretty good Kurt, if believe it or not. And Dave Grohl was sitting like right by the door and playing drums, and he was like, "Yo, Grillo, if anybody bothers you, just knock on the door."
Right.
And then all of a sudden, here comes Joan Jett walking in. And she's standing next to me for a while, and I didn't say anything. And she just turns to me and she goes, "I'm so fucking nervous." And I'm like, "What the fuck are you nervous for? You're Joan Jett." And she was like, "No, I have to sing Smells Like Teen Spirit. I just really learned the words." I was like, "You're gonna be fine. Shut up." It was like crazy. So yeah, and then Pearl Jam was a big influence as well. Like those first three albums were like you knew every word to every song. And then it sort of petered out for me a little bit after that.
Yeah. You know what? Let me just quickly jump in again. The people that are typing up comments, I'm curious to hear what some of your favorite bands are, rock bands. So if you guys want to enter some bands or artists, or maybe your favorite albums, I'd be.
So they can super tip it, and then you talk to them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There you go.
I'm always curious
So-
to hear what like people listen to and what their favorite bands are and what their favorite concerts were and what their favorite albums were and stuff like that.
Yeah, you can pick on it. I'm just, I got a lot of people that are pissed because I'm not, I'm answering all their questions, and I shouldn't be doing that. So,
Well, Steve, let me ask you, what are some of your favorite rock bands and also rock albums of all time?
Fred Norris's King Norris is one of my favorite albums of all
Good
time.
answer,
I'm serious. I'm not
Okay.
kidding.
Okay.
No, but I think Fred Norris is talented in so many different ways. But
He is actually.
I do have his album that I know all the words to and everything because I don't know, it's a fun album. But the Beastie Boys, sort of, if you go to my Pandora stations, it's like the Beastie Boys. I like old school hip hop, and if you go to the Pandora Beastie Boys channel, is awesome because it not only just sticks with it doesn't just stick with the Beastie Boys. It goes to rock and roll. They'll play Soundgarden. They'll play a lot of rock stuff, and then it'll go to old school hip hop, and then it goes back and forth. But then I'm like a big Billy Joel fan, but that's sort of, and Black Sabbath was like, I got to be on stage with Black Sabbath for a couple of concerts.
I love Black Sabbath. Yeah.
I became friends with Tony Dennis, who was Ozzy's assistant. If you read of any of Ozzy's books, he talks about he was his coke dealer when he first started.
Oh, okay.
And he, so Tony, I guess, recognized me from the show, and we were at a party somewhere, and he was this little Scottish guy, and he came up to me. He's like, "Oh, mate, me and you, we got a lot in common." I'm like, "Yeah, what's that?" He goes, "We both work for Maniacs." And I go, what? He goes, Tony Dennis, nice to meet you. I'm Ozzy Osbourne's assistant. I go, get the fuck out of
Yeah.
here. He's like, yeah, I know. He goes, I know who you are. I met you. You're always very nice when we come on the show. I never forgot that. He goes, and it was like right at the infancy of email.
Okay.
And it was like Tony Dennis 100 at AOL. You know what
Oh
I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
It was like early, and the couple. I stayed in touch with him for a while, and every show I had a backstage pass.
Oh, very cool. Yeah.
And
Now,
yeah,
one thing I hope I'm not going to get into trouble, but there are two very good comments where I asked what people's favorite bands are. I have Big Orange Marble and also Scoldies. I don't think that
yeah,
but I
yeah.
actually did like that.
Scully's, yeah, and that's the great Nancy Sirianni
Yes. Yes.
Martling.
Yes. Nick.
So
Would you like to ask me what my favorite rock bands are of all time?
well, yeah. If we're gonna get into that, sure. What's your
Why
favorite
not?
rock
Why not,
band?
All right, so my favorite rock band of all time is a very obscure band called Queen. Did you ever hear them before?
Well, yeah, of course. How is it not anybody's favorite
I
rock
know.
band?
No, but Queen. I see. The thing is, Queen, Led Zeppelin, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones. There's bands that like are so insanely great and legendary, but you get sick of them because you're bombarded, especially here on Long Island with like WBAB. You hear the same 10 songs over and over and over again. So it gets to the point that like if I never heard Stairway to Heaven again in my life, I'd probably be okay with that.
Yeah,
If I never heard We Will Rock You again, I'd be okay. It just but anyway, Queen to me, there's been no other band that was able to take on such a wide variety of styles of music and really make classic, just great sounding music out of all of them. And to me, there's never been a rock singer as great as Freddie Mercury. And Brian May is one of my favorite guitarists of all time. You hear just a few seconds of him playing, you know exactly who it is. He came with a whole unique, interesting style. And they're one of the few bands that all four members wrote a classic hit song, at least one classic hit song each. So I always
yeah.
have to give it up for Queen.
Well, I wish I had a buddy that's seen him like 18 times. I was just too young to
I
go,
was
but
young to see them too, yeah.
I was.
Although I was lucky to see Kiss when I was 7 years old with the full makeup on. What do you think of that?
I'm probably gonna piss off a lot of people about my next statement, but I can't stand Kiss.
Don't feel
I
bad.
didn't know.
I was gonna
I
say
didn't know
don't
as a
feel bad
kid.
because my wife can't stand Kiss either.
Yeah. So I know I was confused because I didn't realize that they were a rock band. Because when
Okay.
I was a kid, they just looked like the really cool, like superhero kind
Well, they
of
also had all the merchandise. They had the
the
dolls
merch.
and the
Yeah, like I was
popcorns
obsessed
and
with the
yeah, like all the
merchandise.
other shit. Yeah, I know. See, that's it. For me, it was really all about the music and like for me also with Kiss, I really just like the '70s stuff. I've written books about their '80s non-makeup era and stuff, but just I don't think it's aged very well to be honest with you, and I'm not a big fan of it anymore. I really just listen to the '70s stuff, but that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, no, I got in trouble because of Kiss. Somebody gave me it was like a big sticker where it had a round ring of flame and all four of their pictures and everything was individual. You could take it off and stick it, and I had a little chair that was
Yeah.
mine. It was like my little wooden chair. I used to bring it around with me and shit, and I stuck the Kiss stickers on the chair, and I got my ass beat. Yeah, damn it, you ruined your chair. I was like, not in my head. This looks cool, like.
Because I'm such a Kiss nerd, I actually know the sticker you're talking about. It came in the
Yeah,
album. It came in the album called
yeah,
Rock and Roll Over, and it was the cover of Rock and Roll Over as a sticker. Yeah,
yeah,
I remember that
yeah. And
really.
I put that on my little chair that I used in kindergarten, and I got my ass beat.
Right, right.
But no one explained to me that they were a rock and roll band until like
Yeah,
years later.
yeah. But something we haven't really talked about is I have to give you credit because like from time to time I'll go back on YouTube and I'll watch classic Stern clips and stuff. And I've always been a fan of like when you were on the show because to me you always kind of represented. It's like you and I were like the same age, so it's almost like I kind of related to you in that way that we were the same age and everything like that. But one thing by seeing a lot of the classic clips, I have to give credit to you because I would not have lasted 5 minutes on that show because I just couldn't like have my personal life picked apart and like whatever like insecurity I had picked apart. Like
Like these people are doing
I
this
give
right
so
now
much
in the
credit.
comments. Yeah, it's on a daily basis.
Yeah,
I'd like to say
I
you
wouldn't
get
have been able
used
to do it.
to it. I like to
Okay.
say you get used to it, but
Mm.
I can't say that.
Yeah.
I think you just have I have such a positive outlook that maybe it's going to go away one day.
Mm,
But no, it's
yeah.
just you live your life under a microscope
Mm,
and you just learn how to deal with it. And as long as I'm anti-doxing and stuff like that. A lot of these people in this Dabbleverse and everything, they
mm.
like to take it to another level, and I don't. I think there's a lot of infighting and a lot of striking and a lot of suing, and I'm not here for that. I'm here for a different purpose.
Yeah.
I keep saying I've been doing a show like this for a long time, and it just some people like it and some people don't. And
Well, one thing I have to give you a plug for this book here. When I was reading the part last night, something I didn't realize, and again by reading this book, it kind of makes me look at the whole show differently. As a listener, like you tend not to think like so. You're like a young guy. You talk about in your book like when you started to lose your hair, it wasn't like a very good thing. Like you weren't very happy about that. Now here you are on a radio show, and here Howard is giving it to you. I mean, I give you credit, but like that's something that like I learned in the book. Like you have to think that there's a human side that I think on even though I'm a big Howard Stern show fan, people tend not to really, like when people are laughing at that, would you be happy if Howard was doing that to you or to your brother or to your father? Like thinking of it kind of like that.
I something about me is like I don't like to get into fights. I don't start fights. If someone's to come at me, I'm either going to talk my way out of a fight or I'm just going to avoid it altogether. But Greg, if someone fucked with you, I'd be all over them.
Well, thank you.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I
I
appreciate
just am very protective of everybody but myself.
it.
So, me taking the lumps on the air was fine. But if it was like someone else that I cared about, then I would probably have a problem with it. Like, nothing triggers me more than someone screwing with someone I care about, especially if they were innocent about something. So, I'm more not worried about me. I'm more worried about everybody else.
I understand. All right. Well, I give you a lot of credit that you were able to put up with it but you know what? Now I have videos I could watch, right?
Yeah, you do. And so I just remembered, I know that you read the book and you wanted to interview me for the project, but I just remember who just put us in touch with each other, and that was Paris Mayhew
Yes. Now are you familiar with
from
the
the
band?
Cro-Mags.
Yes.
The
Okay, now I was
Cro-Mags.
going to ask you now, are you familiar with the Cro-Mags at all or no?
I am not. I knew of
Okay.
them, but I know they were like super hardcore.
Yes, they put out an
And
album. Yeah, they put out one album called The Age of Quarrel that tends to get overlooked, but it's such an influential album. It was one of the first albums that really merged metal with like hardcore punk. Like I know like Motorhead did stuff similar and things like that, but this was like really like heavy like early Metallica, metal, thrash metal with also hardcore like the, Bad Brains and things like that. And that album really to me is like the perfect merger. Like that to me is the perfect example of that coming together and it being done fantastically. And it's been a huge influence. I know Lane Staley from the band Alice in Chains mentioned that he was a big fan of that album. I know Nick Oliveri, formerly of the Queens of the Stone Age, has said he was a huge fan of that album. It's reached a wide variety of people. But yeah, if you're not familiar with that album, Steve, check out The Age of Quarrel by the Cro-Mags.
I would love to. And then he's also in something else that
Music,
now.
and he also is he's an underrated music video director. He directed the classic Typo Negative video for Black Number One. He also, I think, directed not Jump Around. What was the? I forget. It was a classic hip hop video. For some reason, now my mind it's slipping my mind. But he's worked with like Anthrax, a lot of
Biohazard.
Biohazard. Yes. Oh, one of my favorite underrated bands, King's X. Do you know a band called King's X, Steve? You ever heard of
I
it?
know of them. I don't know them.
Okay, he directed a video there. It's called Dogman, which I love. That was a great song and video. King's X is another band I worked on. See, the thing is, I wanted to say too about like my writing too. I've been lucky since I've been writing for so long and done books and written for websites. If there's a band that I like or a subject that I like that there hasn't been a book about, I have not the power, but I guess the will then to write a book about that and to try to maybe right the wrong. For instance, one of my favorite singers of all time was Shannon Hoon from the band Blind Melon. And I felt like that Blind Melon, the albums with Shannon Hoon,
I
Those to
love
me are
that
some of my
first
favorite,
album.
yeah,
I listen to
those are
that
some
all
of my
the
favorite
time.
rock albums ever, and I love Shannon Hoon. I was lucky to see them 5 times with him, and he was such a captivating, great performer and a great lyricist and singer. But anyway, it seemed like that he wasn't getting his credit after he passed away. So I wrote a book. It was one of my first books called "A Devil on One Shoulder and an Angel on the Other," which was about Blind Melon and Shannon Hoon. So what I'm able to do is I'm able to, through being a writer, I could do these books about these things. So talking about King's X, I feel like King's X wasn't getting their credit, so I did a book with King's X a few years back, simply titled King's X: The Oral History. But none of these books compared to this book here. This is a
Oh, come on.
masterpiece. This book. This is a literary. Now, has Oprah Winfrey contacted you to come on
No,
to do
not
the
yet.
book of the month?
Not yet. I
Not yet.
wish.
Soon.
I got a couple of words for her.
Yeah.
No, so Paris, I met through a friend of mine, Joe Meathook, because Paris is also one of the best camera operators in the TV and film business. And my friend Joe is hardcore, and he became friends with Paris on set, and they became friends. And then I met when I was doing my first one of my, I would say my second podcast run, when I had some office space. I had 24-hour office space, and I got a couple people to do a show with me, a comedian by the name of Stacy Pressman, and some other guy was just a straight up criminal. We found that out later. But Paris came on. I don't know if you know this about Paris, but Paris came on and told the story about his dad. Did he ever tell you the story about his dad?
You know, I've heard a little bit about his dad, but if you want to tell
Oh,
us, I'd be curious.
it's unbelievable. Like I want to come have it. Like he told this story on his show, so I can't say that it's out there. But he went into real detail about his dad was living in Dallas, Texas, and he was there when President Kennedy got shot, and he lived in that town where the books. I know it's depository, but I always say suppository just for comedic reasons. But the town was so blackmarked by the assassination of President Kennedy, they were going to destroy the book suppository, and there was a group of people that felt that was wrong. It's a part of history, and it should be there for future generations to see. And they bought it they bought it sort of like it was a sneaky way they bought it. It was up for auction. Nobody knew about it. A couple of the people went, and they saved it from being demolished. Thank God. But there were nights where it got really hairy, and Paris's father had to stay inside so they didn't burn it down. Because the town, it was really kind of hectic and scary time. And what Paris's father did, which I don't think anybody knows because he owned it, was he had a construction company come in overnight, remove the window that Oswald supposedly shot Kennedy from, and replace it with another one. And Paris Mayhew, in some unknown storage unit, has the actual window frame where Lee Harvey Oswald shot Kennedy.
Wow. Have you ever had Paris on your show?
Yeah, Paris was on when I had the little. It was we had the little Bright Shot had an office. It was a 24-hour access office, and I built a little podcast studio there. And me and my friend Stacy and this other guy did a show from there, and we were getting guests. I don't know if you remember a couple of years ago. I would say probably like 10 years ago. There was the movie The Warriors, of course.
Yes. Yeah. Of course.
The movie The Warriors. They had that reunion in Coney Island.
Okay.
That started on my show, and that's the truth. I had the two guys that came on. They were both the two black guys. One of them died early. I forget their names, but like David something. And they were both really nice guys, but they were both the two black guys from the Warriors. And they came on, and we started talking about having a reunion because it was like, and then the guy that was doing the show with me at the time, he was such a shyster, bro. He was like, I didn't know, you get to know people, they talk a big game, and then as you get to know them more and more, their story just like unravels like yarn.
Yeah.
But he was able to get some promoters, secure a location in Coney Island, and get most of the cast members to attend. And it was like this big Warriors con. And that all started on my show. And then it was so big, and so it was on all the news channels and everything. And then the second year, that guy stole all the money, faked the heart attack. He faked the heart attack during the show. And I guess he had a couple of if you know what 81 is, a couple of the angels were working there doing security, and he got carted out in an ambulance, and apparently they caught up to the ambulance and lumped him up pretty good.
Oh, jeez.
And yeah, I don't think they got paid for the Warriors reunion the second time. But that whole thing happened in that little studio where I first met Paris, and then I saw Paris coming out of it was that concert they do in Central Park every year.
Okay.
Oh my God, it's the Global Citizens concert.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was a stagehand, and I worked that, and he was working on Walking Dead, and I guess the guy who plays Negan, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, is a huge Cro-Mags fan, and he was the camera operator, so they became
wow.
like really close.
Okay.
So I was walking out of Central Park, and I see Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm a Walking Dead fan. But then I see him walking with Paris. So finally, when we got to a point where it was like, I was like, I saw he was with Paris, and I waited, and I turned, and I go, oh my God, I can't believe it's you. Can I get a picture? And Jeffrey Dean Morgan was like, no pictures. I was like, no, that's Paris Mayhew. I want a picture with him.
That's good. Oh, you know, I want to tell you too. I just looked it up. He directed "Slam" by Onyx. That was the big hip hop video.
Oh, okay.
And
Wow, that's a huge video.
it is a huge. And he also directed the Run DMC "Ooh, What You Gonna Do" video.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he also
Yeah.
directed. Yeah, you said Biohazard Punishment, Typo Negative, Black Number One, King's X Dogman, and Anthrax Belly of the Beast, and also Cro-Mags We Gotta Know. That was the first music video that he ever directed, and that was for his own band. But Steve, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to do a run soon.
Well, you got to
But,
go watch the Knicks. Is that the deal?
Yeah, well, I was gonna say I'm not the biggest basketball fan, but I have some friends that are very big Knicks fans, and if the Knicks are doing well, I'm kind of like a fair-weathered fan. I'll check them out. So yeah, I'm definitely all for them. But let's talk just a little bit more about.
Oh, yeah.
95.
Where can everybody get your books, by the way?
Okay, they could go to Steve Grillo's house.
Yeah. Yeah,
No,
no,
go
thank
to
you.
Amazon.
Not with these people.
Yeah, go to Amazon.com. Although Barnes & Noble also has been carrying this. And if you love my beautiful Long Island accent, you can listen to the audio version that I narrate, the whole entire thing. And that is on Amazon or also Audible. You check out. But I'm curious to hear, what were some of your, like, what else were you listening to back in the 90s as far as, like, rock music goes?
Jeez, there's nothing that was out of control. I do have a bit of trivia.
Okay.
That I think you will take with you and use it on your endeavors, your future
Okay.
endeavors. Who was the opening band for the very first Ozfest? The very first one.
The very first one. So that was
I don't think you're going to get it.
That was in
If somebody,
1997?
it was in Anaheim, California, and if somebody in the comments gets it, I'll put their name up and I'll send them a book.
But let me ask, was it in 96 or was it in 97?
The first one, I have the T-shirt. I still have the T-shirt. I'd have to look.
Because the thing is, in 1996, it wasn't a traveling Ozfest yet. 1997 was the first year it was traveling, and that's when also.
So it was 96. It was
Okay, yeah.
96.
96. Give me a hint. Give me a hint at least.
We've mentioned them in our conversation today.
Okay.
How about this? I'll narrow it down. I mentioned it in my favorites.
Okay. Frank Sinatra.
No. It's a tough one. It's on the T-shirt. I still have the T-shirt.
Let me guess. Either Sepultura, Danzig. I'm trying to think who played at that show. Slayer played at that show, I believe. Sabbath, I think, came on after Ozzy. You might as well just give me a hint.
He's the first name of the album is King. In fact, that was the first name of the band.
King Diamond?
No.
Uh,
That's the first name of the band. The first name is King something.
King something. King Tut?
Nope.
Oh, wait, I got it. King Norris.
Yep, there you go.
Wait, so King Norris really did open up Ozfest?
The very first Ozfest, because Sharon talked about it on Howard, because she was like so fed up with all these, like they couldn't get into Lollapalooza. Like they wouldn't take Ozzy because he was like such a
Metal
I guess not just that, but he was too much of a risk.
Yeah.
Like is he going to show up? Is he going to show? If he does, is he going to be drunk?
All right.
So the King Norris got the headline.
Wow.
It was like an all-day event,
Uh,
and it was definitely Biohazard, Sepultura, uh, the Ozzy, Black Sabbath, and I have the Danzig. I have I have the lineup. I have the original shirt, and so I got to Fred. I flew out there, and Fred got me backstage passes, and the Beastie Boys, not the Beastie Boys,
Black Sabbath.
Biohazard from Canarsie. They're from my neighborhood.
Yes.
So I kind of knew those guys, but I was too young. They were the big garage band in the neighborhood and stuff. And I know friends that were best friends with them, and I met them like once or twice, but they were like so big. But my one friend Mick D, who was good friends with them, he's like, they know you're going to be out there. Just go and say hello. So they were all in their trailer, and I just walked in their trailer. I didn't even knock, and I was like, "What's up, you bunch of fucking bitches?" And everybody just sat there like, you got Evan Seinfeld and everything just sitting there staring at me like, "What?" And then they all started to slowly get up, and I was like, "Mick D sent me," and they're like, "Oh, it's Grillo, what's up?" Danny Schuler was gonna rip my face off.
That's funny. But but come on, name me some more '90s rock bands that you like.
I'm trying
Think
to think.
back to '90s. Think back to like '93, '94.
Well, Alice in Chains, hands down.
That was a great
down Alice in Chains. To this day, I'm talking about like Nutshell, maybe one of my favorite songs of all time.
Dirt is one of my. Dirt's probably my favorite album of theirs. It's probably the darkest, most. I mean, just the fact that Lane Staley had the balls to pretty much confess that he was strung on heroin and was pretty much dying. I don't think that's ever really been done before in that kind of honest way, on such a hit album as well.
Yeah. Oh God, you're putting me on the spot.
Let me.
Alanis Morissette. I liked her. I got to see her before I went to a listening party.
Okay.
And I got to see her before she blew up. She put on a good show.
Let me actually.
I saw her at Tramps. Oh my God.
Yeah, I've seen some shows at Tramps. I remember back. But let me quickly throw out some band names from you tell me if you know them. We're gonna start with the band Faith No More. What do you think of Faith No More? Give me a second.
I just they were like a one hit wonder to me. Like you got it all.
There is actually more to that, but yeah, they did have one song that was played heavily on MTV. But there is, to people like me that are huge that are big Faith No More fans, there was a whole other side to them that was much better. They have an album called Angel Dust, which is one of my favorite albums of all time. So I'll just throw it there. What about a band called Everclear? What do you think of them?
Yeah, I didn't own any of their albums, but I think I seen them in a concert or two. They were definitely something that you wanted to be front row in front of. I liked Hole.
Hole, okay.
The album with Hole. I got to see them a couple times. Courtney Love stage dove on top of me. I got to grab her tits. That was kind of interesting. I liked Hole.
What about Stone Temple Pilots?
Oh, of course. They played the studio live when they first came out, and I've seen them a bunch of times. But it was kind of cool. Bush was great. These are bands I like. Believe it or not, I liked not Blink-182. There's let me try to because Sugar Ray. Sugar Ray.
Oh, Sugar Ray. Okay.
Yeah, because those were Stern fans, and they won that contest, and then they blew up after that.
What about the band called Living Color?
Yeah, I did. I was waiting for. I was disappointed with they didn't follow up with their aggressive style, and I kind of gave up on it.
Okay.
So but that one song that makes you. I mean that stopped you in your tracks. Keep going.
What about Jeff Buckley? Are you familiar with Jeff Buckley?
Nope.
No. Okay. He's one of my favorite singers. He sadly put out one classic album and then he died. He drowned, which is a tragic thing. But what about the band called Ministry? A fan of Ministry?
Yeah, not really. I know they had some really good artwork. What comes to mind? Veruca Salt comes to mind. They were pretty hot.
What about the Cranberries?
Oh, okay. That could possibly be my favorite band of all time. I take that back. Okay. I didn't think about it. The Cranberries, I probably know 80% of all their songs.
Oh, wait, someone just made a good suggestion. What about the Butthole Surfers?
I know of them. I don't know much about them. I know that's a great name.
Right. All right. What about a band called
Chili Peppers?
Yeah, I was going to say Chili Peppers. Okay.
Definitely Chili Peppers. That Californication may be one of my favorite albums, like from front to back.
Okay.
What
about Primus?
They were a little too hardcore for me. I didn't follow them, but much respect because they were punch in the face kind of band.
Yes, I agree.
What about Gigi Allen?
One of my favorite documentaries of all time. Did you ever
I've
see? Did
seen
you ever
that.
see
Yeah,
Gigi
I've
Allen
seen that.
Hated? That is
Yeah. Oh my
seriously one of my
God.
favorite documentaries of all time.
I pushed those memories out.
Yes, I mean because it's just so fascinating that a gentleman like that walked the earth and actually lived for as long as he did, and yeah, it just absolutely crazy. It's just fascinating, just from like a study of like someone's either mental illness or whatever he had, whatever It just he was a very unique individual. I guess we'll just leave it at that.
Oh, I'm a big fan of Depeche Mode, Erasure, and The Cure.
That's more '80s, you could say, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
no, Depeche Mode and Erasure. I was very sheltered, I guess, knowing about some of those new wave music, and
Okay.
I didn't realize Erasure was pretty much a very, I guess, LGBTQ band
Okay.
before that all sort of
Right.
came up. And I went
Yeah.
to the concert. Oh, the 52s. I'm a big 52s fan.
52s. I love Devo. Devo is probably my
Oh
favorite.
yeah,
At
are you
least one of my
kidding?
favorite '80s band. I
I
love
can't
Devo.
get no
Yeah.
satisfaction.
Yeah. Actually, for this book, I know I'm shamelessly plugging it at this point, but
Go do it. That's why you're here, dude.
I did interview a few guys from like the late '70s just to kind of set the stage as to like what happened in the '70s and '80s leading up to the '90s. So I interviewed Gerald Casale from Devo. I interviewed Fred Schneider from the B-52s and a few other veteran type people. But yeah, but this book, if you remember, like 120 minutes with Matt Pinfield and Kennedy and all them, I interviewed them for this book, and yeah, a bunch of other people for this book. So this will bring back some. It's similar to how this book brings back the '90s with like New York City.
Yeah.
This book brings back memories of '90s music, what was being played on K Rock and MTV, 120 minutes, and what you were seeing at Lollapalooza. And I can't think of a better way to sign off than that, right?
Yeah, no doubt, buddy. And they could get it at Barnes and Noble.
Barnes and Noble, but probably Amazon is the easiest and also quickest way. And if you want to check out my other books, go on Amazon, do a search for Greg Prado. Like I said, I've written over 50 books, and
That's crazy, buddy. Good for
yeah.
you.
Yeah, thank you. And if you and also I regularly write, like I said, for Ultimate Guitar. I do news articles and interviews. Like today, I just interviewed the guitarist from the band Primus. His name is Larry Lalonde. That's coming up for Ultimate Guitar. So if you go on my X/Twitter page, which is x.com/Greg Prado Writer, I'm always posting my latest interviews and articles and talking about I announce my books. And Steve, I will tell you right now, what if I can come back on again if you'd like, but I will announce a project that concerns you later in the year when it's going to come out. How about that?
Yeah. That's how this all kind of started. But I was like, yo, you got books. Why don't you just come on and
We're going to keep that hush hush.
chat? Yeah. No, I got it. That's between me and you. But I appreciate being
between you.
honored to be part of the project, and I
Thank
hope
you.
that any of the input that I gave you did help
Yeah,
out.
so far you've been a very, very big help. And just think, we've actually become friends now from that, haven't we?
Absolutely, 100%, buddy.
Yeah.
100%. It's especially that Paris put us in touch. Much respect and love to Paris Mayhew. That's for sure.
I was going to say Paris is a great gentleman. I will actually send him a link, this link to the chat once it.
Yeah, I would love to have him come on and tell the story about his dad, because I never forgot that. Like, I was like, how does that not make like news? And I was like I was breaking balls. I was like, can you tell me what town the window's in?
Right.
Like that's a
No,
part
but-
of history. Like it really should be in the Smithsonian.
Yeah, no, it should be, and you should even have him on to talk about all the classic music videos that he directed.
Wow,
Yeah.
but him alone, I'm sure that what he's got, the stories that he's got alone, to being like, and you know what? It's nothing. It's something about being talented and being a handsome motherfucker that really kind of pisses me off. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I know he has a wonderful wife and everything like that, but I can't imagine the road stories when
Yeah.
you're that talented and you're that good looking. That it must be a good day to be in the pants of Paris Mayhew.
All right. All right, Steve. Listen, thank you very much for having me on. Have me back on again because I had a blast.
100%. I'm glad. Like the last minute, I was like, you were interviewing me for so long. I was like, I got a show to do. Why don't you just come on the show? Like,
That's right. That's right. But I remember you wanted me to just to ask the questions, but I said no, because if I ask you the same questions, it's going to give away what I'm doing.
you're right.
in the
You're
interview.
right.
Yeah.
I was like, but I was like, the clock was ticking. I was like, I'm
was.
still learning this system, and I'm like, if I do it every day, then I get it. But if I haven't used it, I used it when I was upstate. but it was more like an experiment kind of thing. I was just having fun,
Right.
but I have to be, and then I had so much drama up there. My brain pushes out stuff that I learned real quick.
Well, listen, let me run because my friend Ben right now is
Go.
grilling the grill, and then the Knicks start about 8 or 8:30, so I need time to eat and then get mentally
Well,
prepared. But Steve, definitely have me back on though.
Yeah, anytime you just call and let me know.
Okay, or else you could always just let me know as well.
You got it. Thanks a lot, everybody. Greg Prado.
Great, yeah, great. And I also want to say thank you to all the gentlemen and also women that made all the nice comments. There were some pretty good comments there. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, well, yeah. All right. Thanks, man. I appreciate you.
All right.
Stay in touch.
All right, I'll see you, Steve. Bye-bye.
Bye. So there you have it, Greg Prado. Yeah, he's working on a project. He asked for some help and some input, and I did. And he was like, he's very thorough. And I said, I wasn't sure which way the day was going today, so I just said, let's kick speaker. I said, I can't do this. So yeah, I was like, just look, why don't you just come on? But you can't talk about what he's doing right now, but when it does come out, I'll definitely talk about it. Anyway, that's about what's going on today. Got a lot. So now, either you guys aren't super tipping me, which is, see, it does come up. So, and then, yeah, I don't know if it's working if you guys actually send a tip. So,
welcome to Super Tip, Grillo's Aftershock XL. This is a sample voice tip.
So, yeah, there's nothing coming up. So, if you guys did try to send one and nothing happened, I apologize. But we had to make some adjustments because the last time I was on, there was issues, but I think it was super tips in general. And we checked it before. It comes up when I hit play, but maybe nobody's just super tipping, which is part of the business. And Bob Levy's coming on. He called me, and he wants to come on. Let's see what happened with that. So that might be tomorrow or Friday. I have to call him and say what's up and talk and work things out. But I did his show when I was out at the campground, and he's going to do mine. I know what he's doing, and what can I do? I can't stop it, He's making money, picking apart everything I do, and I give him more power to it. I'm getting paid to do this, so it doesn't make a difference to me. These guys rely on their super tips to pay the rent. I don't. And it's good for him. And I always liked Bob. I when I had the studio at Pro Media, I diligently helped to try to get him the studio and get a deal for him. He was going to be a part of the network that I was on. I hooked him up with that, and then of course everything just all fell apart because of the pandemic. So in the early stages, I was trying to help Bob Levy out. I guess I'm helping him out even more now, and I'm going to have him on. We're going to talk about old times and whatever shit comes up. And said he's going to help, and I don't know who in the world could say that they are beyond help. I don't think that anybody's beyond help. I'll always take criticism, because the people that don't take criticism are just not successful people. And I will gladly take criticism and listen to what he has to say, and then I'll go from there. But got some other people planned, and hopefully maybe if Bob's on, I'll be able to make that announcement, because a lot of people will be watching, and then we can go from there. Yeah, I guess creator dashboard. Oh, well. Anyway, nothing to see here. But I appreciate everybody tuning in. Anyway, that's crazy. So, yeah, it's been an hour. I appreciate everybody coming back. And I'll be out and about tomorrow at some point. On that note, I'm going to leave you guys with this. Why are they so big?
Well, I guess a hernia, and they just started to get bigger and bigger. I couldn't control
Is it like elephantitis kind
and
of
I
thing?
never got them, looked at. So I have it as a
Well, let's take a
conversation
look.
piece.
Let's take a look.
I need-
They want to give me an exam right
Oh,
now.
I don't. All right, go ahead. Why
Let's
not?
see it.
We got no
Headsets on?
ratings.
No, okay.
We can blur it out.
Oh, Jesus.
We can blur it out.
Let's see these things.
Is this gonna be on camera?
Yeah. Steve, you're gonna have to give him an examination.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to take a look at it. Wait a second. Guy's hiding his fucking eyes. Is like, I'm looking down.
No, he's fucking
I'm
recording
gonna
it.
fucking look. Oh, jeez, here they
Oh,
come.
fuck. And he's wearing like 18
Now let's.
bucks.
Oh, for
Don't
fuck's
put it on
sake.
the table. People got to eat here.
Oh my gosh! Whoa!
What the- I put it
Get
away.
the fuck out of here! Are you kidding me? You got to get those things taken care of.
Yep.
Put him away.
Wow! I was not expecting them to be
How
that
do you
big.
get 'em
Now
in
you
the
can't even
pants?
get it back in the pants. Holy shitballs! My God!
I'm sweating right now.
I did not think that they were going to be that big. I figured,
Don't
you know, they'd be
I
a
told
little
you I had
bit.
huge balls. I meant it.
You were not fucking kidding, my man. Holy shit!
Oh my God.
You know-
This is the first on Aftershock XL. Radio.